I feel like I've been in a time capsule because essentially what I would almost say overnight, this Photon Galaxy hype, this casual player hype that has just entered into the spotlight. We're going to talk about this. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. Rabble, Yu-Gi-Oh's dead, but like, why is there some extreme movements in Photon Delta Wing over the last 2 days? Why is Galaxy Eye's Cypher Blade Dragon going up in price? You know, is it because of the Tachyon support that we have coming in the Duelist pack? Enough to get the casual play? It's not the competitive player base. These guys are too busy over here shitting and crying their pants over here because price support sucks and Konami's not changing. But out of nowhere back here, we are seeing a rise in the Galaxy Eye's Photon department, which I'm going to attribute to the casual side of things. All right, like, let's clap for it. Like, we've done it, everybody. We've come full circle. Format's still dog water, but you have Photon Galaxy Eye stuff moving in such an interesting direction that, you know, it's, honestly, I find that quite interesting. Now, on the flip side of the equation, I also want to talk about the Yu-Gi deck over here, the Shining Sarcophagus. I have seen more of my casual player base asking, hey, you got any Silent Magicians? You got any Gandoras for this deck? And it's like, really? I guess the price point reached the level of being so cheap that people started to re-look at this and go, I want to reapproach this as a deck to be able to actually pick up out here. And I do agree with that. That's actually pretty freaking cool. And we did talk a lot about the Yu-Gi deck initially on this channel. I still love the deck. I think it's a very good, strong, casual deck to be able to kind of challenge the meta. But you need to understand, you know, you are kind of playing down a little bit into some of the meta. So the casual hype between these two decks, not to say, you know, I don't have all day to sit here and scroll through TCG Player and look at every, you know, section of everything that's moving, but those are two big things. Now, we also got to talk about Buster Blader hype over here. For whatever reason, Destruction Sword of Memories has 3 listings for the MP, and you're looking at under 20 listings for the regular print version. So this is the thing is, like, I almost want to consider Buster Blader a casual deck at this point in time. But we all know that this deck, you know, we can play the Rocket Dragon Link build of this, and, you know, we can try to turbo through and beat some of those Tenpai players. But we all know deep down that people are looking at Buster Blader as that anti-meta Tenpai Dragon deck. You're right. That's right. You know, it hasn't had any success as of late. I mean, it did as we kind of crashed into this format. Like, we did see a decent amount of Buster Blade. It was there, all right? I'm not going to not, you know, acknowledge that. But you've also got, you know, you got the Buster Blader Tenpai builds that are playing this. I bring back up the very famous version of the deck that was playing the Rocket Dragon Link stuff. Well, actually, you can kind of toss Tenpai into that as well. So you're kind of mixing all of these sorts of packages together out here to give us a nice little piece of casual / competitive annihilation. I am very surprised about this. So that gives you 3 decks right now. Guess what? They're all anime. Guess what? They all have some sort of nostalgia tie-in to them. But, you know, the competitive application that's brewing with these potential choices right now, I think is kind of crazy to think about. So keep an eye on the Buster Blader stuff. I would love to see a reprint as we kind of head on in to later in the week here. It would be extremely cool to see, you know, Destruction Sword of Memories finally getting a holo print. It'd be nice to actually allocate a slot to that in battles. You know what I mean? Now, also on the casual train while we're talking about this here, this Purrely hype. So, Nor hit $80, which, okay, personally, I'm not running out. I'm not buying Purrely cards right now. If anything, you know, if I wanted to play the deck, Purrely, you know, we sat through the format. We know how annoying the big cat was. We know how stupid it was to have to sit there and go, you're unaffected? Oh, you have 12 materials? Yeah, I too hate this game. Oh, you're going to spin back my whole field during the end phase? Oh man, I needed that skill drain to resolve. No, wait, doesn't matter. That's the Purrely experience. But now that, ban list is set in, they reprinted everything in Rarity Collection, you've brought new life back to the deck with people just throwing their money at the screen. And I don't understand why people are running in right now going, I need to buy Purrely cards, all right? And it doesn't make sense to me because, especially Purrely hitting $30+, that one's crazy to me. All right, that card was literally but nothing for a little while. But I guess we're at the point now that people are not only expecting a meta shift, but once that meta shift comes, we'll be able to do our thing. And another big thing I mentioned on this channel a lot is you can't be surprised when people are willing to throw, a small amount of money at something. Especially in one of those scenarios, it's like, hey, congratulations, Purrely got the reprints. And it's like, okay, Purrely got the reprints, but what does that mean? It means I'm willing to spend a little bit of money to get a piece of bling or two so that, my personal favorite card can actually be available to me in a rarity that I prefer. It happens, all right? But the casual player right now, it's 4 decks. You've got that, the whiners and everybody complaining about the meta. People are still buying. All right, now, I want to toss in a collector's piece here. This Battles of Legend Dark Magician. So, for those of you that remember all the way back there, at Battles of Chaos. You remember that Dark Magician that, we all looked at, we're like, oh man, $130 on release, that's too much. And then they hit $90, and then people still look at it like, that's too much. You're just kind of getting further and further away from the set release. And guess what? They're not going to reprint this. We're at $100 right now for that Dark Magician. We're sitting at about 30 listings right now. But this sort of stuff, once again, it's all about the casual side of the game. You've got the casual side and the collector's side of the game that are both looking at this card going, I want this. If you pick them up at $75, now that they're $100 heading up to $120, congratulations. You won. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. There is really no problem with this. I actually wonder how long until we hit the point that people are going to start looking at Battle of Chaos boxes as a chase option to find that card. That's what my real question is. I am very curious about the long term on that set. We do talk a lot on this channel about the long term, and a lot of these you're not gonna see these things come to fruition overnight. You might wake up one day and go, wow, when did that happen? Because this Dark Magician is not exactly something I keep on, my eyes every single day and check it, like the literal penny stonks. No, but this is enough to go, hey, it's finally happening. We might see this hit 150 sooner than later. It's going to take a while, but we're already heading up on the good start here. So I'm once again curious to know where those Battles of Chaos boxes are going to hit for the collector's side of things. So a little tie-in to that. And the last thing I want to talk about here is White Dowston. We have Battles of Legend, I'm assuming, coming up this week. If we don't see Battles this week, whew, wow, dropping the ball. But what I'm expecting to happen out here is this card's value over the course of the week is going to be determined by the Mini Underworld Goddess. If Mini Underworld Goddess is present in this set, you might not see anybody go too crazy with this, but if the Mini Underworld Goddess is present, actually, I think either way, people are going to look at White Dowston, depending on what happens with the Fiendsmith stuff. And it all is going to, it's all determined by that stupid Mini Underworld Goddess link to existing. Having a free, toggle out for a Fiendsmith combo is kind of important to some people, depending on the build that they want to play. But I'm giving the, hey, watch this, and let's see what happens here. All right. You can get them for $250 right now for a vanilla monster. This all comes down to what you think you're going to need and if you choose to play it or not. Personally, I don't play in any of the builds that I've seen messing around with, but creativity bypasses a lot of, the norms and things that I see out here. I read my comment section, a lot of people are like, well, Robbie, you're actually wrong about this. And, this is why you're wrong. And then it's like, but it still, you come back to that comment 6 months later and you're like, wow, that didn't age well. But, OP is nowhere around to, live up to it. But, it's it's, just that. So keep an eye on White Dowstons for now. it's an interesting thing, to say the least. So, not only have we had some crazy casual stuff happening over the last week, I genuinely, I thought the format and everything was pretty stale, but I'm genuinely excited today to see the casual side of the game, grabbing these sorts of cards and these movements. It's breathtaking to see. Or maybe I'm just fat. But please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back in the day, guys. Peace.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.